Hi everyone. For this lesson we'll be talking about referencing, or we will try to understand what is referencing, how do we reference, and for the purpose of the style of referencing, we will be focusing on how the style of referencing. And then what is referencing? Referencing, it is acknowledging the sources that you used, be it in your assignment or your research. So you have to acknowledge those sources. And then what is the difference between reference list and a bibliography? A reference list contains all the items you have referred to directly and cited within your text, whereas bibliography contains all the sources you have read but not cited within your text. So this means that for a bibliography, it's a sources that you have just read to gain more knowledge about the certain concept that you are dealing with or the topic that you've been given. And then it does not mean that you have taken the information from that particular source, but you have just read so that you have a better understanding. Whereas with a reference list, it means that you have taken information from the source. Therefore, we'll see it within your text, and we will see it we will see it within your assignment, and we also see it. So therefore, it will have to come at the end of your reference list. That means it will appear within your text and as well as at the end. With a bibliography, you will only see it at the end of your assignment, but then it will not, there won't be any in-text citation. And then what needs to be referenced and why should we reference? We should reference anything that is taken from another person's work. It is because it is not your own idea. You have to reference because it's someone's own work. It's someone who has actually gave a thought of a certain concepts. Therefore, you have to acknowledge them, as we have already seen that we have to acknowledge these sources. So even if you maybe get the information and then you paraphrase it or you summarize and directly quoting it, it is saying that you reference so that you show us that this is not my own work but it's someone's own work. So if we reference adequately, this will help us in avoiding accusation of plagiarism. As you have seen that plagiarism is a very serious case because you can be expelled from the institution or rather the university if you have plagiarized. And then in-text citation. Remember that with a reference list, that's where you get all our details about the author, the author, in everything, the initials, the year, if you are using a book, the publisher, and everything. And then in the in-text, we only want to see the surname, the year, and the page number. So this is the surname. We won't be writing any initials. This is the surname, period. 2016 on page 96 defined psychopathology as a psychological disorder. So this is how it will appear within the text. And then it is very prominent that when you cite in your assignment, there should be consistency. That means that whenever I come across February and September, which are my authors, I always have to see February coming first because alphabetically February comes first and then September. I should never see September first and then February. So if in my first paragraph I have written February and then followed by September, I have to also see, the reader has to also see that in the second, the third, until you are done with the assignment and until you have done referencing these two. This is how this is what they say about anxiety disorder, that is more prevalent in women than men. And then as you can see that here, my authors are within the brackets, whereas with period, they are periods outside and then my year and the page number is within the bracket. So this will depend on how you have structured either your paragraph, but in this case is how I structured my sentence. If I'm referencing at the end, all my authors, the year and the page number has to be within the bracket. But then if I'm saying this person is the one, they have to be outside, is the one, this year, the page number. This is how they define the psychopathology. And then the important abbreviations that you have to familiarize ourselves with is ETAL, et al. So this is used when referencing 3 or more authors. So it is very important that in your first paragraph or when you firstly use your authors, you have to introduce all of them. You do not just jump into writing one author and then ET, et al. The reader has to see all the authors at the at first, and then in your other paragraphs, that's where you can use et al. And then unknown, it is used when the author is unknown. Sometimes we find sources that are relevant to our information. They have all the things, like for example, if it's a book, it has the, especially online books, it has the publisher, it has the title, it has the year, but then it does not have the authors or the author. Then that's where you can take the source and then write unknown instead. The unknown, which is anonymous, obviously, for instead, because you do not have the author. And then just what you should remember is that et al. Should never be used on the reference list. You, at the end of, in your reference list, you should write all your authors, even if they are 10 or they're 11, you have to write all of them. And then we will look at about two, I think, sources or two ways of referencing. Sorry, two sources, being the book and the journal. And then you can download the NW reference guide, where it will show you how to reference a book, how to reference a dictionary, how to reference or Quran, or how to reference a Bible. You can get that. They give you everything in detail. So for a book, we'll have our authors with their initials, we have the year of publication, we'll have the title of the book, and then you have the place of publication, and then the publisher, and then there should be a full stop there, my bad. And then a journal. With the journal, you have the author, you have the year of publication, you have the title of the article, and then remember, the title of the journal has to be in italics, and then you have the volume, the issue number, and the page number. The page numbers does not say that you have got your information from 1167 to 1180, but it says that the journal ranges from 1167 to 1180. Yes. And then once you had, I think this, you'll be able to now do this little activity on referencing, and just check your level of understanding. It will really help you. So it's very salient that you go through this, and then once you are done, this will bring us to the end of our session.